Welcome back, and we're on to part 3 of I'm Taking Charge, the Fundamentals course. In the last video, we've seen how we can intervene in the interpretation or meaning part of the results chain. Now we move on to how to take charge of your emotional state, which is the next link in the chain, when you do find yourself feeling anxious or working yourself up towards it. We're talking here about emotional state control. There's 3 things you can change to take charge of your emotional state. You've got your physiology, the way your body functions, your self-talk, which is what you say to yourself, and your focus. We're going to start today with your physiology. When thinking about your body, I want you to think about the chemicals running around which put you into certain states. As we've seen earlier, the chemicals which put you into a panic as a result of the fight or flight response are different to the ones that relax you, so we need to take charge of the release of these chemicals. When you think about it, there's a certain physiology that goes with being depressed. The eyes, the head, the shoulders go down, the voice is quieter. And there's a certain physiology that goes with anxiety as well. So the breath shortens, the heart pumps, the body tightens up, it constricts. You might get that feeling in your guts. There's also physiology that goes with being confident, powerful, and happy. The best way I can convince you of this is to simply demonstrate it. So do an exercise with me. Stand up if possible with your feet shoulder width apart. I want you to put your shoulders back, lift your head and eyes, put your hands on your hips, and then take a few long, slow, deep breaths while you're in that stance. You may hear this called the Superman or Wonder Woman stance, and the power stance is another name for it. So inhale all the way down, expanding your belly and your chest, and then a long, slow exhalation. As you maintain that stance, you're raising the testosterone in your body, whether you're male or female, by 20%, and you're decreasing cortisol by 15%, making you 1/3 more likely to do things that you normally wouldn't do. That's the power of your physiology. Now stay in that stance, but now add a big cheesy grin onto your face. Even if it's a fake grin, just get your mouth in that shape. Big cheesy grin. Can you notice how different that feels? It's a different bunch of chemicals. And when that stress cascade of chemicals kicks off to put you into an anxious state, your body is preparing for a threat. What we want to do is get the message to your body that everything's okay, there is no threat. And I hope the exercise we just did has shown you that there's a number of ways we can use our physiology to take charge of our emotional state. I'll go into this in more detail in world-class friend trainings, but we can use our breath, our posture, our smile, our eyes, and movement to send a message to our body and shut off that stress cascade of chemicals that puts us into an anxious state. As well as those things I mentioned, we can also use what's called an anchor, and this is another thing which we equip you with in world-class friend programs. We spoke earlier with the examples of both the hot plate and the fear of public speaking about the correlation that is formed in the 2 parts of your brain between the memory of an event and the emotional response to that. So this type of event means that type of emotional response. That is programmed or anchored into your nervous system, your neural network. It's as automatic as responding to your name being called. When you hear your name called, you don't have to think, you respond straight away. It's automatic. When you're stopped at a red traffic light and it turns green, you automatically go. That signal has been anchored in over time. We can set this type of anchor up voluntarily by anchoring in desired states into your nervous system so that you're able to access those states whenever you like. Together, we'll set your own trigger for that so that when you feel anxiety come on, something as simple as a click of the fingers or something as discreet as joining the tips of your thumb and forefinger together will trigger you into an anchored state, such as confident, powerful, and happy. That's a part of our program. Now, if you've done any research at all on how to overcome anxiety or panic, no doubt you've come across breathing techniques before, and you may possibly have become a bit cynical about them. In fact, one of the things that people say when we begin to work with them is, just don't tell me to breathe. And I totally get that. It's something that they've tried and failed. Breathing techniques are important in getting a message to your body that everything's okay, and to change that cascade of chemicals being released in your body. I explain exactly how that works in our program, but these techniques are a piece of the puzzle. In my experience, they're not going to help if you've still got your self-talk and focus telling the body that there's still danger. Your body will continue to produce adrenaline, cortisol, etc. So we're going to continue to work through the 3 ways to take charge of your emotional state. And on the next video, we're going to look at your self-talk, because this is a really critical component of what we're trying to achieve. Until then, practice using your physiology to take charge of your emotional state. When you're in a situation where you begin to feel a bit anxious, take a deep breath, lift your eyes and your head, put your shoulders back, put a big smile on your face, and continue to breathe deeply and slowly. And know that there is more pieces of this puzzle to come. But if you can practice each one as we add them, then you're getting closer and closer to the end solution. See you on the next video.